Hey, welcome! Today, we're going to talk about something every single one of us deals with, the unknown. And yeah, it can be pretty scary. But what if I told you that stepping right into that uncertainty is actually the key to a massive personal breakthrough? We're going to dig into the science behind those incredible moments of growth.
Let's just be real for a second. This is where it all begins, right? This one feeling, this fear of what we don't know, it's totally universal. It's the thing that can keep us stuck, playing it safe in our comfort zones. But, as you're about to see, it's also the exact jumping-off point for something amazing.
So, to make this real, let's jump into a story. We're going to meet Miyuki, who found herself standing right on the edge of her own personal unknown, staring this exact fear right in the face.
So here's Miyuki, in New York City, and she shares this really powerful, long-held dream. And this wasn't just some passing thought, you know? It was this constant ambition simmering inside her, keeping her eyes open for any little opportunity. But she was stuck. She just couldn't make that final leap all by herself.
And boom, there it is, the barrier she sees. When she's asked to sing an American song, she's honest about what she thinks is her big limitation. And for so many of us, right, that's where the story just ends. That fear of not being perfect enough would be a complete showstopper.
But then, this happens. This incredibly simple yet totally game-changing suggestion. It's a moment that completely reframes the entire problem. The thing that looked like a giant brick wall a second ago suddenly becomes a doorway. All it took was a tiny shift in perspective.
And the shift is wow. It's immediate and it's so powerful. The second she starts singing in her own language, you can just see the fear melt away. Her whole posture, her face, her voice, everything transforms. She isn't just singing a song anymore. She is living her dream, right there in the middle of the street.
Okay, that was an incredible moment to witness. But it wasn't magic, not at all. There's a fascinating mix of psychological principles that were all working together to make Miyuki's breakthrough possible. So let's pull back the curtain and break down the science of what really just happened.
All right, let's start with the first key ingredient, kind of the foundation of Miyuki's whole moment. It's an amazing concept researched by Angela Duckworth, and it's called grit.
So, what is grit, really? Well, it's not some short-term, intense burst of effort. It's about having passion and perseverance for goals that are way, way out there in the future. It's about sticking with it day in and day out, even when you feel like you're not making any progress at all. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Duckworth's research draws this huge line in the sand between grit and talent. We tend to put talent up on a pedestal, right? But her studies at places like West Point in the National Spelling Bee showed that grit is a way better predictor of who actually succeeds in the long run. Sometimes, having too much natural talent can even hold you back because you never learn how to struggle and build that resilience.
And this brings us right back to Miyuki. Her dream wasn't just some casual wish. It was the long-term passion that was fueling her perseverance all along. That's the grit that gave her the courage to be vulnerable in that moment and to grab that opportunity with both hands when it finally showed up.
But you know, grit alone isn't the whole story. It gets supercharged by how you think about your own abilities. And that brings us to our second big idea, having a growth mindset.
The difference here is absolutely fundamental. A fixed mindset says our abilities are just set in stone. You're either good at something or you're not. End of story. A growth mindset, on the other hand, believes that our abilities can be developed through hard work and dedication. Challenges aren't things to be scared of, they're opportunities to get better.
And get this, it's not just a nice idea. It's actual brain science. This is a concept called neuroplasticity. When you struggle with something hard, you're not just feeling frustrated. You are literally building and strengthening connections in your brain. Your brain is physically changing and getting stronger because of your effort. How cool is that?
And we saw this perfectly with Miyuki's response. A fixed mindset would hear, "I'm learning English," and see a wall, a dead end. But her growth mindset saw it as a temporary problem that she could figure out how to navigate. Her limitation wasn't a failure. It was just a piece of information she could work with.
So we have grit to keep us going and a growth mindset to embrace the struggle. But there's a third element that really lights the fire for both of them, the ability to reframe the problem. This is all about thinking in a different way.
We basically have two modes of thinking. Convergent thinking is like a laser beam. It narrows everything down to find one single correct answer.
But divergent thinking is like a floodlight. It opens everything up, exploring outward to generate tons of new possibilities. One helps you find the right answer, the other helps you discover a whole new question.
That suggestion from Miyuki to sing a Japanese song? That was a pure what-if moment. That simple question was an act of divergent thinking. It completely shattered the stalemate and instantly created a new path forward that literally did not exist a moment before.
And there we have it, the toolkit for breakthroughs. It's this amazing cycle, right? You have the grit to push through the hard stuff, the growth mindset to see those challenges as chances to get stronger, and divergent thinking to find completely new ways forward when you feel like you've hit a wall.
And this brings me to a final question for you. Think about a challenge you're facing in your own life right now. What if, just like Miyuki, you're only one what-if question away from your own breakthrough? What incredible new possibilities are just waiting for you right on the other side of that fear?